There's so much stuff to cover. Recently, Reddit's CEO went on the news. His stock dropped. Disney formed a new partnership with TikTok. There's a new verified badge on Meta. Welcome to the Seriously Social podcast. So before we get into it, guys, I wanted to get a quick pulse check. How's everyone feeling? Obviously, we work together all day long, but I wanted to know, have you guys seen anything recently on social that not necessarily educated you or anything, but maybe moved you emotionally?
Well, outside of the year going by crazy, which a lot of parents have their kids going to school now, so I've been seeing a lot of that. But the one that hit home for me, it's almost football season. The NFL season is among us. And my favorite player of all time, Drew Brees, got inducted into the Hall of Fame officially, I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And the amount of content that I've seen, it's wild. I have followed the Saints content, but I've even throughout all of these years, I've never seen so much content about a specific Saints player as much as what I saw.
Is it coming from like the Saints account, the NFL accounts? Is it fan edits?
All the above, actually.
Which I would love to sit down with, their social media team and really understand, like, was this a calculated move? It doesn't feel calculated at all. It feels natural. The Hall of Fame itself obviously has a strong social media strategy around the event.
Hall of Fame, ESPN, the NFL, Sports Center, the
so
accounts
there's an entire
themselves.
network of brands involved in this
Player
one big
accounts.
cultural moment.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Like we were just talking about how there are 5 other players who got in the Hall of Fame. I wonder if whether it's the NFL or the team that's running the Hall of Fame induction, whatever, if they're doing like share of voice analysis at the end, because we're working with the prominent sports franchise, which is asking us to do these types of reports. And through Signal by Sociallyin, we're starting to look at, during the playoffs or key events, when certain spikes are happening, what the share of voice for that franchise looks like, or the different teams within that franchise. So I wonder if they ran any sort of report that said who dominated social like after the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Yeah, I think something also to think about is, right, all of those brands, I'm sure all these accounts are already, they have a consistent posting strategy. I'm sure they have, all of that built out. But when you bring in this sort of attention, and perhaps as we've expressed, it might be more than you even expected around this cultural moment, how are you following that up? Because now that you have that share of voice, now that you have those eyes on your content, what are you doing next to keep that there, right?
Yep.
So that's interesting. I know there was some Reddit news that happened.
Let me talk about it. So like Keith was mentioning earlier, the CEO, he came out, their earnings call was there. He gave an update on what was happening, and the stock fell, I think it was about 16% if I'm not mistaken.
Dang.
Now, the crazy thing about that is actually revenue was up 61%.
So revenue was up 61%, but the stock dropped 16%.
That's right.
Yeah, revenue was up not 60%
year over
for the year, quarter over quarter.
Okay.
So last quarter, like the past 4 quarters in a row, they've been growing 60%.
That's significant.
No, it's huge.
Yeah.
This is massive.
Now, the reason why it dropped is the big headline was that even though their revenue has grown, they lost traffic in terms of people visiting their website. To Keith's point, quarter over quarter, year over year. And it's truly because of the AI analysis that pops up now.
The overviews.
Yeah. Like as soon as you go to Google and you look up blah, blah, blah,
something,
blah.
It gives you
like
an answer.
this is actually yesterday. I used Newly, which is a rental service. And so I wanted to find specifically a dress for a wedding that I'm going to. So as I'm scrolling through Newly, I'm like, this is too much to look through. I'm sure someone on Reddit has already curated a good list of wedding dress outfits. So I go to Google and I say, best wedding guest outfits on Newly. And sure enough,
Reddit.
the AI overview comes up from Reddit, and the links are already there.
Reddit,
I don't even have to go to Reddit. I don't have to find
so
one of the
there's
threads.
something for brands to consider here, right? Because like for enterprise companies globally, they spend multi-millions of dollars on their SEO budget.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying SEO is not important anymore. It's just other areas you have to take into consideration, like social, that has to play a role now, because you cannot just rely on SEO anymore. I mean, we have many prospects come to us talking about how they're looking to make organic social work for them because SEO has been their number one driver, and over the past 2 years, their traffic has been going down and down. And we're seeing the same thing at Sociallyin, right? Like the number one lead source used to be our SEO, and kind of still is, but now we're starting to diversify, and we also have seen AI overviews take away some of our traffic.
That's right. And this is not even really a Reddit story. Reddit is still, like, to your point, it's still one of the core sources that the AI overview is citing.
Right.
I mean, we even offer a Reddit marketing service for all of the brands that we work with. But what this truly is, it's a search behavior story, right? In the last 20 years, it was very common. You search something up, you find it, you click on it, and you go to the website. Now it's actually changed. You search something, you see the AI overview, you never even click.
There's no reason. Yeah.
So brands do need to understand how that's impacting them, because it's not to say that Reddit's not important or social's not important. It's what are the sources that are helping the AI overview find the information that is presenting to the person searching for it.
Yeah, there's still a lot of value in that, right? Like you still want to be part of what Reddit pulls up, which inherently then becomes what part of that AI overview is going to pull up. And so it is more significantly a way that brands are getting found these days, being discovered. Totally. I go deep in the hole of these things sometimes, and I found this video recently. I'll try to find it so we can put it here somewhere. But this woman created a fake brand, and then just tested some of the tactics to see that eventually, if she started asking LLMs about, I think it was skincare, would her brand that she made up come up, just to be able to fully test, start to finish, that the brand was being found specifically due to her tactics. And it worked. After, I think, a month of using the same techniques and tactics, the LLM started positioning her fake brand as second on the list for when people were asking about this skincare.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it's crazy what you can do if you employ the right
Reddit
tactics.
Still has a license with OpenAI and Google to train those LLMs on ongoing Reddit data. So.
Which is what you're talking about. Our team is constantly employing those sort of tactics for our clients.
Exactly. So the question really becomes, for marketers, for CMOs, for all of these brands, it's changed the question from how do I rank to how do I become the answer? And there's really four main criteria when it comes to how do they become the answer. They need to create original research or original content. They have to have a unique expertise in their realm, thought leadership at the end of the day. Community conversations impact the AI overview as well tremendously, and then first-party data. So obviously the rise of first-party data has happened over the last decade, but those four unique aspects, and then doing that at scale, is what's going to impact the AI overview that people see when they're searching.
Hey, quick plug before we get further into today's episode. Did you know that Sociallyin, our agency, is an official Reddit marketing partner? Now, Reddit is not one audience. It's thousands of communities all tied together with their own moderators. And what we do is we help you map those conversations, build the playbooks, and participate where relevant. And if Reddit is already showing up for your brand, then book an audit through the link below at sociallyin.com. Now back to the show.
Let's move into thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, this is a segment we're bringing back. Okay, we had it on a couple of our episodes almost like a year ago, it feels like now, but this is one of my favorite things. Pick something and then everyone else will decide thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm gonna start. So I've been really in this side of TikTok where there's a little bit of a debate around slow edits versus those really clickbaity, really fast, quick clips with SFX, and like every 5 seconds there's a click sound and something's popping up. Is that what holds your attention? The slow edits, like what do you prefer to see? Are you getting tired?
So is this thumbs up, thumbs down on
or this or that?
So on quick pace, high frequency, extremely lots of sound effects.
Thumbs up.
Are we thumbs upping or thumbs down?
I think I'm thumbs down, actually. So
yeah,
I like the more storytelling, compelling, slower pace type of content that emotionally draws me in.
Does it hold your attention?
Yeah, that's because I tend to see myself watching those videos a lot longer than the fast-paced stuff. Now, the fast-paced stuff is eye-appealing, and so obviously you'll see it for a second, but I feel like I quickly move off of those pieces of content versus the ones that still tied to emotion the most.
I agree. I kind of put myself in the middle, but I will say that I prefer a slower edit. I prefer someone who's like a talking head for a good 45 seconds to a minute. I'll listen. Sometimes I'll even put it on 2 times speed. Not gonna lie. But it is kind of the first couple of seconds that will grab my attention. So if there's something fast, a good sound effect, something that's happening in the first couple of seconds that grabs in my attention, what's going to hold it is then the slow edit and the talking. So I feel like a little bit of both. But yeah, sometimes it gets overwhelming. I'm like, I have to move on.
Yeah.
Right.
I can. What's yours?
So recently, someone told me about Instagram being able to change your sound now. So after you've posted your reel, you know how you can add your sound obviously up front. You used to not be able to go back and change the sound once it's been posted.
Yeah, that's a game changer, actually.
Yeah, and now you can change it. So let's just say maybe you got married 2 or 3 years ago. Now you're in a different stage of life, and that's one of your pinned videos, but that moment now makes you feel a different song.
Yeah.
You can go in and change it. So highly requested feature, thumbs up or thumbs down.
I would say thumbs up.
I think it's a thumbs up in
Thumbs
the
up.
feature sense.
Yeah.
What I don't know yet, since it's so recent, is how does this impact the algorithm and then turning that video back into something that's relevant.
Right, because
now.
it's a new video.
Question.
And it's a sound that may be trending now that
Yeah,
you changed
that's a
it
great
to, and I
point.
wonder how that impacts the results or the metrics behind the post. So
we'll have to do a test.
we'll have to do a test,
That's a great point. I was already thinking about for brands.
Because then why
specifically.
not go back and change the sound on all your videos?
Right.
Exactly.
If you're like me and
Maybe
you
they're
edit
onto
to the
something.
beat, then maybe not. But but yeah, no. But I was thinking immediately, like, how would we use that for brands and
Right.
kind of finding something that's more relevant now? That's crazy. Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. And we talked about this actually on one of our episodes, I think later last year, but it's obviously still not, slowed down by any means, but AI influencers, and specifically AI influencers that are winning brand deals, because this is relevant for the
Yeah.
brands that we're working with, our own clients, the CMOs
Yeah.
out there. But what are your thoughts on AI influencers? And then I'll share some knowledge.
Yeah, so I'm
say
with
thumbs
it.
I'm
As
thumbs
long
up,
as
I
it's
think.
disclosed, I'm with it. And then as long as, from a cost standpoint, I guess. I mean, why? Should they be cheaper than regular influencers?
They are. Now, should they be? I don't know, but they
Well,
are.
are they?
That's a good point. I don't know actually the specific
Yeah, what does it
numbers
actually
of the brand
cost?
deal.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the owner of the AI influencer, I would just charge a regular rate. Like, it's no different, right?
Well, I guess it goes back into the effort behind it, because it's almost like supply and demand. So
Yeah.
if I'm the owner of the AI influencer, but I can at will have an army of 15 of them, and I'm able to create content much more easier than it is for a real person to, then I can just underprice the competition and
Right.
get more of the advantage with the brands that I'm working
Yeah, I
with.
mean, that's just capitalism at the end of the day, what they're talking about.
Well, that's the country we live in, right? So
Yeah.
no, but so some facts here. So there are a few like Shudugram, Rosie, Layla Love, Kyra. These are real influencers, and these are micro influencers. I'm not even talking about the millions and millions of
Yeah.
followers, but these influencers that I just named in fashion, in beauty, and wellness, they're getting deals with brands like Fenty Beauty, Volkswagen, Amazon Prime Video. And if you go and look at their pages, maybe we can pop one up here for one of these influencers. But if you go look at their pages, it feels real. Like, obviously, even a lot of people can tell that it's AI,
Right.
but the comments that people are getting is like, "Oh, you look so beautiful. I like
Weird.
this." And it's an AI person,
Yeah.
and they're almost talking to them like if it was a real
Dang.
human being.
That is wild.
Sad and wild.
Yeah, I don't know that I love it. I think I'd have to
I think it's
tackle
thumbs
that
up.
idea for a bit.
I think
but-
long term, it's for sure thumbs
For the
up. Like, it's here
opportunity.
to stay, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
not gonna.
And go watch our video for AI influencers that we did last year. So I think we did a whole podcast episode on it. So
It's crazy how far it's come since then.
Yeah.
That there are full, actually named AI influencers that you can recall and say, this is a brand that they worked with. That's
they follow them
insane.
like a real human being. I still would say, even being in social, I haven't leaned towards it as much.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, but a lot of the people that I still follow are authentic human beings. But I think it's on the rise still. It's becoming a lot more normalized in society, and I think for some people who are a little bit more naive or don't understand quite yet, it feels natural to them versus for a little bit more in
Right.
tune people.
All right, I want to talk about something else. Shift gears just a little bit from AI influencers. So we talked about Reddit. I want to talk about now TikTok specifically. TikTok there was a deal that just went through between Disney and TikTok. So Disney Plus specifically, I believe, where there are so many fan edits. We were talking about fan edits earlier.
Right.
So many fan edits on TikTok. I feel like I can watch a whole movie sometimes. I'm like,
Totally.
I can go through the night. I see the whole clips from movies. But there's so many fan edits. So all these Disney movies, people are creating fan edits. People are creating clips from the movies. And Disney caught a hold of that. And instead of shutting it down, which a lot of these, big corporations will do,
That
is
have
say, like,
IP, yeah.
hey, you can't use that. You
That's
can't
right.
even use the songs. They said, wait, we need to take a hold of that. We need to redistribute
Yeah.
it in our way and
Right.
how we want to do. And so
Right.
They actually are now pairing up with TikTok to find that fan content. Participating creators will be able to get their work featured. So it's kind of a platform now for these creators that are actually creating this content.
And it's showing up in Verts, which is a section in the Disney Plus app, which is vertical content. So like all of the content that's IP tagged, I guess, on TikTok will start to show up there.
It's really quite smart.
Yeah, I mean, I think whoever came up with that is like a genius idea.
It's basically just taking what was on another platform and platforming it yourself and saying, we already know that all of that content's there. We have the audience for it.
And once the IP is officially licensed to TikTok, you can integrate it into the functionality of the app, right?
Yeah.
So like you can start to have stickers, or you can
In
start
Disney
to have
or in TikTok?
in TikTok.
Okay.
If once the Disney IP is like integrated into it, like you can have 3D vectors of Iron Man that can overlay onto your face easier. Things
it was
like
great
that.
timing. The new Spider-Man movie came out, which, by the way, was the second largest opening box weekend in terms of movies. I think only the other Marvel movie, Endgame, was the only one that was larger than it.
That's dope.
And the big thing here for brands is, like, you know, they've been craving for UGC awareness for a long time anyway. This actually helps now, where the brands they get distribution for free because of the IP release and all of these. And to Keith's point, it being featured in the Disney Plus app, is being used on TikTok. It's just literal free brand awareness by allowing these usage rights to everybody that uses TikTok. So.
Yeah, it still keeps the control and the power of the IP in their hands.
That's right.
But it's,
Yeah, and now brands can use the Disney IP in TikTok, right? So historically, you know, a small brand, like a small mom and pop, might have to go through a lot of legal hoops to just, you know, tie on their name to a pop culture moment like the Spider-Man release. But now that it's integrated into TikTok itself, whether that's through the stickers or sounds or whatever, you can start to use those, and you can start to show up in Verts on Disney Plus if you're utilizing the functionality properly.
Yeah.
Do y'all think this is like a natural shift in, you know, the way that brands and social platforms are going to work, right? Because in the past, brands have always tried to own the piece of content, right? And now the future is really like orchestrating the content. Like instead of asking like, what should we create? You need to ask like, how do we inspire what other people can create for us?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely a shift.
We did that a long time ago, like back in 2018 when Facebook Frames came out.
Yeah.
You know, we created frames on behalf of Dick's Sporting Goods that others could use.
That's right.
It just ultimately, it expands the network of who's going to see that content, right? Like you're just building upon what's already there. You are then still taking control of it, but in a way that allows that content to still get distributed rather than kind of closing it off and shutting it down. You're, in fact, making it louder and bigger and giving it a platform.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, a win-win, I think, for both parties, both for the creators and for Disney. And for TikTok, honestly.
Hey,
they all win in that situation. I don't know if you, I probably get this a lot because I'm an Ariana Grande fan, but recently there are certain words that if you type them into the comments on TikTok, her face will pop up with flowers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the type of collaboration.
Trigger
exactly.
So I think Petal, which is the name of her album, or there are certain other words that the minute you type them out, that just pops up.
Yeah, TikTok does such a awesome job of like incorporating pop culture stuff into the app itself, like in a native way. Yeah. So like when the World Cup was happening, they released an entire World Cup app.
I think this is huge because brands, you know, they used to own the conversation. Now they can orchestrate it. But one of the biggest things is fan content isn't just awareness anymore. It's actually distribution. And it's actually a part of our mythology and our ecosystem of what we pitch to our, you know, prospective clients when they come to us around the social media content engine. Like figuring out how do we leverage the community. It's not a new concept. Like a lot of times brands have understood like, hey, how do I get my community engaged in this? But this is one of the, I would say, headline ways to truly just open it up to the public, allow them to run with it, and through that you get the distribution and the awareness that you're looking for naturally. It's not forced, doesn't take a lot of effort, it just naturally becomes part of your ecosystem.
Yeah. Speaking of verts, vertical format content, I was in Chicago just a few days on set for a shoot, and I go to call an Uber, and while I'm waiting on my Uber, lo and behold, vertical videos just start playing, and I can scroll through them just like TikTok or Instagram.
Exactly.
And it's the first time I've seen that, and I started to, you know, I was doing something else. I was like, why are there videos playing on my phone? And as I scroll through them, they are all from or about restaurants that are on the app that you can order
That's
Uber
awesome.
Eats from.
That's epic,
But
yeah.
they feel very natural. They feel like, just a video
Think
about
if
that restaurant.
Uber had a collaboration similar to Disney Plus with TikTok and the same restaurants that are on Uber Eats, people who are making content on TikTok about
Exactly.
those
Shown.
restaurants
That's right.
could
Just
show up
pulls up
on
right
a
there.
huge distribution
application.
platform,
Yeah.
which is Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, it is benefiting so many different parties. It benefits the restaurants themselves,
The
the
users.
creators and the users
brand,
are
yeah.
platformed, and then obviously Uber, it benefits them as well. So it's just crazy. I think exactly what you're talking about is kind of creating this ecosystem for yourself, orchestrating it and still being in control of it,
That's right.
but using it as your own distribution channel, platforming and empowering others rather than trying to take control of the situation in which you're shutting those people down.
That's
I
right.
think that's a positive
Totally.
difference.
I love that.
Okay, some other things I want to talk about. We talked
Hit
about
us.
Disney, we talked about TikTok, we talked about Reddit. What else is trending that you've seen? Well, you talked specifically about being able to change Instagram music after you've already posted. I wanted to bring up reorganizing the Instagram grid.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've
Both of
seen
those are
that.
good ones.
I think it's great. I think there are so many people who care very specifically, brands especially, about what order things are on
Totally.
the feed, because when you come to that page, it can make a big difference. And also, depending on your content strategy, you might want 3 to be in a row to spell something out, whatever. So being able to post and then go back and reorganize what it actually looks like on the grid, I think is a huge change. That, and also being able to change captions per image in a carousel.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
huge.
I think those are all really smart, such tiny details, but paying attention to what it is actual users on the app want and what they're going to make use of. So I think that's really smart. But
Yeah,
those are
which
some
is
things I've
also
seen
why,
trending.
in that case, brands can't be so rigid in their scope. A lot of times what I'll see people do, and, culprits of this sometimes is they'll be like, okay, at the beginning stages, we're going to post X amount of times and we're going to write this many captions.
Right.
Versus now, the feature of being able to write captions per post within a carousel. So you got to change up your whole deliverables at the end of the
100%.
day. And you got to be able to say, okay, we got to write way more captions now because, we're posting more carousels.
And the content strategy behind what that carousel looks like could change completely.
Yeah.
Because now you can maybe tell a story with each different
Yeah.
respective image in that carousel. I mean, there's just so much that you can do. So yeah, I think it's really important if you are working with a social agency, make sure that you have an agency that's ready to adapt, move quickly, and kind of pay attention to how those things are working in your benefit so that you're fast to approach them differently and change. What else have you seen that's trending? What's on your For You pages?
Yeah, so something that's drawn my attention increasingly over the last few weeks is something that we actually talked about on the last episode, which is those mini dramas. And the ones that I'm getting shown like over and over and over again are really like middle world based, like superheroes or like superpowers or like kings and
Really?
kingdoms
I haven't
and things
seen
of
any of those.
yeah, so that's what I'm seeing, and so it made me just think, because I'll end up sitting there. The thing that's still, and this is a great medium for people like me that get drawn into things like
Right.
this, and then the ads, because every single episode between each one, there's an ad,
Of course.
15-second that you have to watch
Can't watch
before
the
you can
next
watch
one.
the next episode.
But you want to know what happens. So
Oh,
you got to watch
100%.
it.
And so I'm sitting here and I catch myself sometimes. I'm like 30 episodes in because they're short. Yeah. But think about the number of ads that I saw in that time.
This man's sitting there watching 30 ads in a row.
Each mini drama is somewhere between like 15 seconds, because there'll be different different timestamps. So 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and then it goes to a
That's how they
15-second
keep you
ad.
hooked.
Yeah. And it's always at a pretty pivotal point in the actual drama,
It's a
just like a TV
cliffhanger,
show.
you
Yeah.
have to keep watching.
So I keep watching them, but
Yeah, and the Facebook and Meta algorithm does that automatically. It knows when those pivotal points are in the content.
That's a good
like
point,
it's not the creators
No.
inserting.
I mean,
those
same as
ads.
YouTube. When you're watching like a long vlog and then all of a sudden there's an ad and you're like, well, I could leave the platform at this point, but I want to know what they said, so I'm going to come
Totally.
back to the video.
So right now, a lot of those mini dramas are hosted on short drama platforms like Real Farm and things
Yeah.
of that nature. But I'm starting to wonder, Peacock's actually done it as far as like the main streaming platforms that are starting to host it more naturally. I'm wondering when some of the other streaming platforms, since streaming has so much of the consumer attention, when they start to kind of pivot. And obviously YouTube and TikTok are the two leading social platforms that have started incorporating these mini dramas into their feed as well.
Yeah.
So starting to understand
Totally.
where brands can take advantage of those ad placements, where brands start to play a role in the production of the mini dramas. I know we talked about doing one potentially for Sociallyin, and what other major streaming platforms start to leverage this short, attention span
Right.
concept of mini drama. So
Yeah. I was gonna ask, the mini dramas that you said
Yeah.
that caught your eye were about superheroes,
Yeah.
middle world, and so on.
Magic
Were
and
any of
things like that.
them were there brands or product placement integrated into any of them, or were they specifically just
Not
storytelling?
quite yet, because this actually goes back to my point that we talked about earlier, which is AI generated, social media accounts. Most of the mini dramas I watch are AI characters. Like they're
Oh.
human AI characters.
yeah.
They're not actual people that are
I see,
recording and
okay.
acting in these mini dramas.
Interesting.
So I think for those types of mini dramas, the brand placement has still become a little bit difficult because it's all AI
Yeah.
generated. But the ads themselves are pretty unique. I get a lot of,
Yeah, I would
ad-
love to do a mini drama, whether it's AI or real people.
yeah.
We've done real people mini drama. If
Yeah.
you remember, we were going to do a whole show with the set around debt and debt education. But if any brand is interested in doing an AI mini drama, hit us up. We'll give you a huge discount. We'd love to try it out.
Great way to put your product and make sure that the awareness you're looking for seems natural. Going back to what we talked about on the last episode. So
Cool. So last topic I want to talk about is Meta Facebook verified badge. So you could always buy a Meta verified badge, which I pay for, and I think it's actually
do too,
super
yeah.
helpful. And there's a lot of benefits that come with it. But now they have a free version of it. So essentially, you can upload through like a selfie verification process,
Yeah.
and then you can get that verified badge, which tells people that there's a real human behind the profile.
right.
And this is huge because there's a lot of these schemes happening on Facebook, specifically like on Facebook Marketplace.
I have been scammed.
Yeah, where people will act like a real human, and they're providing a real service at the end of the day, right? Like it's like your local lawn care guy who will actually come and cut your grass,
Right.
but whoever the agency is or whatever is like, they're launching like 50, 60 Facebook profiles and then being like lawn care profile, lawn care support or whatever, and they're launching these on Marketplace. So now you'll know if it's actually a real human behind it.
Or it's just a regular account. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had people on our team who have had their accounts banned for whatever reasons, and then they're unable to get in. So through this verification process, I think it's going to provide a lot of account security and then also verification for buyers on the other side. Like this is a real person I might be dealing with.
I think this is great because brands are looking, especially when they're partnering with people, they want that trust factor, right? We've talked about that. And so rather than them questioning or the audience questioning, this provides that authenticity and trust factor. So it helps them. And you want, sometimes going back to that whole AI conversation we just had, sometimes people still want to go the humanized approach rather than relying on AI. And as that becomes increasingly more and more relevant, I think this is a realm where people who want that more authentic approach, this actually provides that. So Meta's right on top of it. I think they're pushing both aspects and they're winning on both aspects, right? So
Exactly.
LinkedIn actually is ranking comments in the comment section based on relevance to the user, and the reason that they are
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty smart. I think you can still, there's a way to see all the comments, but the way that it's going to come up is in order of what they think I am going to be most interested in.
Interesting.
And the reason that they did that, from what I understand, is that from April to June of this year, they noticed a huge spike in AI comments and then a huge decrease in engagement in the comment section due to this. And so they were like, okay, we're losing people. People are not having conversations organically on our platform anymore. And so they're kind of, to combat that, trying to rank comments by relevance.
Got it. Awesome. Well, so we like to give tactical advice to brands here on the show. So I wanted to ask, do you guys have anything as we close out that people might be sleeping on, specifically brands from a tactical standpoint? And while you guys think about it, I can kick us off.
Okay.
So one thing a lot of people are testing, including us, is they're posting the same reel on both their organic feed and their trial reel at the same time. And what's happening right now, and this is not going to last forever, is you're getting your organic feed reel pushed to your followers and then your trial reel pushed to your non-followers. And you're almost being able to double up on that reach, and it's sort of a mini hack right now. So if you're not doing that, definitely I recommend trying that out. Post it as a trial reel and post it as on your organic feed and watch your numbers double essentially.
I would say to take advantage of creators. I think that's it. I know that it sounds silly, but I think a lot of brands, specifically whom I speak to, really believe that influencers are the only way to kind of get that sort of traction with creator videos. And there is a difference. I'll explain it super quickly, right? There are creator videos. These are creators who are creating content specifically for your brand to live on your pages on each platform. And this content feels UGC style, but it's fully curated the way you want it to be, right? You are totally in control of the script, what they're wearing, what they're saying, who's in the video, all of that stuff. And obviously the audience there is just your audience. Whereas influencers, what they bring to the table is also that skill set of editing and creating, but also their audience. Now, obviously, influencers can become a lot more expensive depending on your niche, depending on how many followers they have, so on and so forth. So there is a lot of value, and I think sometimes it's underrated in having creators work for you, for your platform and what you're posting. And I think a lot of times it's just influencer or bust. And I'm like, no, there's also this medium ground where you can have really strong creators posting on your page.
Right.
I agree with that. Mine was actually going to be, which is not a new concept. I just feel like as AI has become more prominent and what social media is becoming has become more prominent, it's harder and harder for brands to achieve this, which is the human first storytelling. And if you think about all three topics that we talked about today, the AI overview between Reddit, the Disney and TikTok partnership, and then even Keith's point of the meta verification, everything was about trust. Like, it's still the number one factor when it comes to what people are looking for, what brands should be doing, and the best way to gain trust in today's world still is that human first storytelling, the
100%.
behind the scenes, the unpolished content, a real person talking and telling the story. And with the use or the rise of all of the AI tools, with the rise
It's going to
of
become more important.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's easier to lean towards doing, to both y'all's point, the AI aspect of it, which means you should definitely try it. Like, try what's the latest and greatest, but don't lose touch or lose sense of the human first storytelling.
Absolutely.
And I think brands need to double down on that, definitely.
Yeah.
Tactic-wise.
Yeah.
So.
I remember my very first marketing class sophomore year, and I'm sure we've all heard it, or if any of you have been in a marketing class, you've heard it, where the number one form of best marketing in the world is going to be word of mouth. It always has been, and that
Always
comes
will
down to trust. It
Yeah,
always
exactly.
is. What are my peers saying? What are real humans telling me? That's who I'm going to believe at the end of the day. So I think finding a way, to become human first, no matter what you're telling, what story you're telling, what you're sharing,
That's right.
is going to keep attention.
We're on the last segment of our podcast episode today. I want to end with a banger. One of the things that we consistently see here at Sociallyin, that brands and prospects and even just people that we talk to every day that are asking us this question, which is, I want to grow on social. I want to figure out, how do I become more relevant? I want to increase my awareness. What should I be doing? Should I be creating quality content? Should I be creating tons of content? And a lot of the times, even brands that we work with, they're always focusing on like, hey, how do we lower the production cost and focus on just high quality pieces and publish less? And one of the things that, I've heard myself say, I know Keith said it on a few calls, and that I'm seeing more and more frequently, is this word Qualium. And so Qualium stands for quality plus volume.
Okay.
And the number one reason why I believe that people are resistant against this and why it's my hot take is, one, the second they talk about, hey, more, they feel like it's a daunting thing to do. The cost only go up. How can we achieve this?
Right.
But the second factor is, when they think about volume, they immediately go back to, hey, but when I posted 8 times on my TikTok, my engagement was down, or my metrics are going down. But what they're not looking at is the totality. What they're looking at is an average. And people have an ego stuck to what the average is, not the totality. And if you want to win on social media, to be prominent, to be relevant in today's world, the totality is the number one factor.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for Qualium. Okay, well, that's a wrap. Great episode, guys. Make sure to tune in. We are the #1 podcast around social media marketing news and tactics, the Seriously Social podcast. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and if you have a hot take, we want to know about it, and a like goes very far. See you next time.